In November 2023, this violent video surfaced on the internet. It was filmed in a bar in Uganda. This was 6 months after Ugandan President Museveni signed the anti-homosexuality law into effect. Since the law was enacted, violence against the LGBT+ community has quadrupled in Uganda. This is one of the harshest laws in the world. It includes prison sentences and, in some cases, even the death penalty. But how did this law come about? In our investigation, we discovered an ultra-conservative American NGO that is very active in Africa, Family Watch International. Did it have a hand in drafting the law? Our investigation reveals the links between this organization and the Ugandan government and shows that it previously campaigned for a law that sent homosexuals to prison. On X, formerly Twitter, we found a post by Kenyan MP Peter Kaluma, dated 27th of March, 2023. He announced his trip to Entebbe, Uganda, for the first regional interparliamentary conference on the African family and African culture and values. He stated that homosexuality would be a topic at the conference and ended his tweet with this tag: "Say no to LGBTQ." The conference, the first of its kind, brought together officials from 22 African countries. A local source which tracks far-right organizations in East Africa shared exclusive video recordings of this closed conference.
Hi, you will find our recordings from the conference here.
Speakers took turns to express their opposition to sex education, abortion, and homosexuality, like this Ugandan MP.
Homosexuality is not a human right.
Among the African delegates was a prominent guest from the United States, Sharon Slater. She is the president of Family Watch International. This ultra-conservative NGO is based in Arizona. According to its financial reports, Family Watch International focuses primarily on Africa. In 2022, it spent $128,636 on conferences, travel, and grants, according to its latest available report. This accounts for 79% of its international budget. Homosexuality is a key focus for its president. In her book, Stand for the Family, Sharon Slater describes homosexuality as a curable disease.
Homosexuality can be successfully treated.
She also portrays LGBT rights advocacy as dangerous propaganda.
We are concerned about laws, policies, and school programs that promote homosexuality, as they can affect the well-being of children and youth.
In March 2023, during the Entebbe conference, Sharon Slater was more than just a guest. In our investigation, we discovered her presence and influence at every stage of the conference. In this early version of the program, shared by Belgian researcher Christophe Titeka, the header closely resembles that of another conference that Family Watch organized in the United States a year earlier. The two events even shared the same title in this version. Once on site, she launched an extensive charm offensive with African politicians. Examining footage of the conference, we noticed a book on the tables of African delegates. Like here. And here. And here. It was Stand for the Family, written by Sharon Slater, and given to delegates that day. She also met with Uganda's First Lady and Minister of Education, Janet Museveni. They have known each other for 20 years. During their meeting, Uganda's First Lady expressed her concerns about harmful practices like homosexuality. Africa is the new promised land for conservative NGOs, according to Christophe Titeke, a professor at the University of Antwerp.
For many religious organizations, particularly Christian organizations, but also broader, Africa has become the last frontier. The West, the US or Europe are seen as lost causes. There's not much more to gain there. And Africa is seen as a continent where still people can be converted, laws can be adapted, and so on. So this is a place where they feel they can still make a lot of influence and gather a large following.
To exert this influence, Sharon Slater even offered African legislators ready-made laws during the conference. You can hear this in her presentation recording, which we obtained.
We'd like to offer you, later on, we can connect you to our model of legislation, positive legislation to protect families on various issues of pornography, religious freedom, transgenderism, the family, sex education, parental rights, protection of life.
At the time of this conference, Uganda's parliament had just passed an anti-homosexuality law. This law confirmed and harshly punished existing offences under Ugandan law.
A person who commits the offence of homosexuality is liable to imprisonment for life.
It also introduced new offences, targeting LGBT rights defenders.
A person who promotes homosexuality is liable to imprisonment for a period not exceeding 20 years.
The law even created the crime of aggravated homosexuality, punishable by death. It primarily targets serial offenders. 1 year after its adoption, this anti-homosexuality law has led to the arrests of at least 47 people, according to a report by several Ugandan NGOs. Sharon Slater claims she played no role in drafting this law. On its website, Family Watch International even states it opposes any legislation that penalizes a person for having same-sex sexual attractions or for their gender identity. However, our investigation shows otherwise. Digging deeper, we discovered that Sharon Slater previously campaigned for a law was already sending homosexual people to prison. It was 2007. At that time, Uganda's laws were already very strict. Under the penal code, acts deemed against the order of nature were punishable by life imprisonment. According to Human Rights Watch, this legislation created a climate of homophobia. In an open letter to President Museveni, it called for the repeal of articles criminalizing homosexuality. Sharon Slater then came to the defense of Uganda's president. This is evident from old archives we uncovered. On the Family Watch International website, newsletters archived by the organization stop at 2016. But by replacing the site's old address with a new one and modifying the numbers, we retrieved hundreds of emails and newsletters sent by the organization over the past 15 years. Among them was a newsletter Sharon Slater sent to her supporters, less than 3 weeks after Human Rights Watch's open letter. She said her contacts in Uganda alerted her about the threat.
They have asked for our help to counteract the intense international pressure on their government to change their tough laws dealing with homosexuality.
She then launched a counter-offensive.
Family Watch is helping to organize international support for Uganda. I urge you to participate by contacting President Museveni and other key government officials in Uganda through a special website we have created, supportuganda.org.
We tried to question her about her support for this repressive law. In her response, she seemed to downplay this campaign.
My statements to which you referred support the protection of national sovereignty generally and not Uganda's laws specifically.
But in practice, the law criminalizing homosexuality was at the heart of her message.
We are organizing an international effort to defend Uganda from pressure by international homosexual rights activist groups trying to force that country to change their laws on homosexuality.
At the time, Uganda was already imposing prison sentences to discourage such behavior. Today, this country serves as an example for others. In April 2023, Kenyan MP Peter Kaluma also proposed an anti-homosexuality bill, which was very similar to Uganda's law. It also includes imprisonment and the death penalty. Three months before introducing his bill, he called for the fall of the LGBT movement, citing a great book, Stand for the Family, by Sharon Slater.